Hi, Gianmarco. Welcome to the latest with Maya. For those of you who don't know, Gianmarco is a stand-up comedian and actor. I watch your videos all the time, and they never fail to make me laugh out loud. So
Thank you.
I am
Thank you very
so
much.
excited. Yeah, I am so excited to be talking with you and to learn more about you. So thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so where do you find inspiration for your comedy? Is everything and everyone fair game?
I try to aim for that. I think, you know, I really just walk around, and if I have any funny thought or frustration or something makes me mad, I'll just put it in my notes app. I'll be like, this bothers me. And then after the fact, when I'm home, I try to somehow express that frustration in a funny way. But I talk about my family, I talk about my relationship, I talk about my friends, and I've been doing it long enough that, especially with the people I love, I think I have a good sense of what won't hurt their feelings, whether it's making it a little bit more anonymous, whether it's the way that the joke is more about me than them. And that wasn't always the case. When I first started, I would make a joke sometimes that would upset someone. And I've just learned over the years kind of to navigate that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Who do you consider to be the gold standard of comedy?
I really love Anthony Jeselnik. His joke writing is just so pure, and it's kind of like every punchline, it can't just get a little laugh. Nothing he has gets like a little chuckle. It's kind of like it's silence or it's a big pop. And I think that really informed the kind of comedy I like to do. Um, and then I think like John Mulaney, his musicality and speed and ability to just go boom, 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 boom. Every sentence, every new clause is a joke. Uh, for me, those two, I think, informed a lot about the kind of stand up I do. And then I love the storytellers. I think I'm more comic than storyteller, but Birbiglia, Tignataro, um, I admire them and I learn from them as well.
Oh, I love that. I love everybody you just mentioned, and John Mulaney is one of my favorites. I've seen.
One of the greatest, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen his stand-up specials on Netflix more times than I can count. So,
Yeah, yeah, me too. I have to stop because if I watch him too much, I start talking in a way that it's like becomes Mulaney. Like I just go on stage and it seeps into my because it's so comedically perfect. It's zippy and it punches here and here, and it's like I have to sometimes put it away.
yeah, I love that. Yeah. What is the best advice you have ever gotten?
Oh gosh, the best advice I've ever gotten. Oh, it always comes from I had a lot of flawed teachers over the years, but I did have one teacher who always challenged me to try to mix up the way you're doing things. Like she was so specific in that she's like, if you comb your hair back with your right hand, try it with your left hand one time. Just see what you feel. You might find something new. And I always think like with comedy, you want to constantly put yourself in circumstances that are not ideal, or you open with a joke that you don't normally open with, or you do it at a show where the audience is bad or the audience disagrees with you, you constantly have to create your own obstacles, try something new your own way, because especially with art and with comedy specifically, the more successful you get, the more you're able to control your circumstances. I can control always performing for a good number of people, or people who like my comedy, or a good comedy club at the right time of day. And I think that makes you get soft. You learn how to operate only under perfect circumstances, and you need adversity. And so sometimes you have to create your own. You have to go, all right, I'm gonna do the show. I remember once the electricity went out at a comedy club, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this with no electricity, no lights. Let's see what I can do, and I learned from it. So the best advice I ever got really was like an overall tactic from her to just constantly make your own challenges. I can make a night that could have been easy for me difficult. And I think my girlfriend would say maybe I should let myself off the hook more so I could be more fun to be around. But I like making my own obstacles to overcome. And I learned that from this teacher.
Oh, wow. I love that. Yeah, well, my next question is actually what is the biggest obstacle you have overcome?
Um, Gosh, I mean, in so many ways, I so badly wanted to be a musical theater performer. Like I wanted it more than anything. And I practiced singing 2 hours a day. And then I kind of hit a wall of my singing. I just wasn't improving. I was struggling. And it was very clear that the thing that I thought I was going to be was not what I was capable of. And then acting. Then I was like, I'm going to be Daniel Day Lewis, and it's like I ran into my own limitations as an actor, and some of them were talent wise, some of them were industry wise, just not getting jobs. And I think the biggest obstacle I overcame was finding what it is I was best at, and that I ultimately liked doing the most, and then going all in. I really started stand up in earnest when I was 26, and it kind of just happened. But it was scary for a moment because I thought, well, does anything matter that I trained for before this time? Was all that a waste? And of course it's not a waste, but still there's a feeling of like I failed these other things. And I think the biggest obstacle I overcame is realizing and accepting and then leaning into my strengths. And I wish I'd found them sooner sometimes. And then other times I go, the age that I found them, I was fully equipped to give it my all.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So is there someone who, without fail, always makes you laugh?
Um, uh, my girlfriend can always get a good laugh out of me. I have to be with someone who can surprise me. When you do comedy, it's like if you were a chef and your partner was going to make meals sometimes, you'd want them to be an okay cook, or you'd have to take you'd go, okay, you know what, you don't cook, I'll do all the cooking. But it would be tough to be like, yeah, I'm a master chef, you cook a meal sometimes, you're like, I could do way better than this shit. But my girlfriend, I think she's brilliant and very funny. And I I think when it comes to our relationship, we are certainly at a 50-50 split of adding humor and levity to our sometimes very stressful lives.
I love that. Yeah. So what is a superpower you would not want to have?
Oh gosh, not want to have. That's a good twist. Um, a superpower I would not want to have. I wouldn't want to know the future. I think that would be I think that would be bad. I think it would be something I would be like, "Nah, I'm not going to look in the I'm going to close my eyes to the future so I can enjoy this movie and then I peek anyway." I think unfortunately it would ruin a lot of the stuff that I do. So yeah, I would say no future seeing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's very few superpowers like I'd actually want to have. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think yeah, everyone wants it, and then the consequences. And of course, I would be like, oh, how old am I when I die? And then my whole life would revolve around that, and I
yeah.
can't have that stress.
Yeah. Yeah, so what has been your most embarrassing moment on stage?
For me, even I've had bad stand-up sets, but nothing compares to failing a song, to cracking. And I had won a big song in a college show that was like a song collection of Rodgers and Hammerstein songs. And I sang this big ballad, 9 minutes long, very, very epic, and father talking about his son, or maybe I'm gonna have a girl, and it ends in this big moment where he goes like, "I'll go out and make it, or steal it, or take it," and I went, "Or take it," and I just cracked so loud, so long after all this buildup. And I went backstage and like no one could even look at me. No one could even look at me. It's not like you can fail quietly. You are failing as loud as possible. They're amplifying your failing to the 300 people listening. And that's just so humiliating. It's so humiliating, and it sounds bad too. It's just the worst cocktail of a humiliation. So nothing I will ever do comedically, I think, will ever compare to that.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry. That sounds like
Thank you. It was a
yeah.
long time ago. I've recovered, but it was
Okay,
tough.
good. Yeah, that does not sound fun. So, um, if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
Oh gosh, neurotic, needy. Um, uh, if you take your eyes off, he will complain. I think that would be my main warning label.
I love that. Yeah. Um, so what is your biggest pet peeve?
Um, let's see. My biggest pet peeve. I I really don't like it when I'll keep it kind of performer based. When people go like, I didn't prepare for this, or oh, I'm a little bit tired. It's making excuses before just doing the thing, especially in comedy. Like you can gain someone's sympathy if you say to them like, "Hey, I had a long day. Hey, ba ba ba," but that's not going to make them laugh. Sympathy doesn't breed laughter, and I think you just always have to fight that feeling inside of giving an excuse before you do the thing. Do the thing first, and if you fail, you can go, "Hey, I get hit by a truck today." It'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." But first, give it a shot. That's mine. No excuses until you fail. No
Oh,
excuses before the failure.
oh, yeah. Um, yeah, so I am pop culture obsessed and I go in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching.
Yeah.
Is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
I'm really obsessed with. I was going back. I sometimes go back to Seinfeld. That could be. I mean, obsessed right now. Right now, honestly, the show I'm obsessed with. Um, I can only get so obsessed because when my girlfriend and I have a show, we really try to watch it together. And I'm on the road so much, it slows down the obsession. But I really love it's animation on Netflix called Long Story Short. And it's the same guy who made BoJack Horseman, which I loved. I loved BoJack Horseman. So that's been my obsession lately is Long Story Short.
Oh wow. Yeah, I love that show. I was obsessed with that when I was watching it. And I just finished a new limited series on Netflix called Wayward.
Oh, cool. I'll check it out.
That yeah, it's really good. It's strange, but it's really good.
Good. I'll give it a look.
Yeah, and yeah, there's a show that comes out weekly that I love called The Rainmaker. Um,
Uh-huh.
that one I'm completely obsessed with. So,
God, I haven't heard of that one, but I'll add it to the long list.
yes, it's so good.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Um, so what personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
I have an anger, I have a temper, and I I don't really yell at people directly because my dad did that, and I remember it made me so uncomfortable as a kid to like be with my dad. He'd be yelling at someone, and I'm like, oh, this is awful. I have to watch this person feel bad or fight back, and I'm just there. But the way I express my frustration is I yell like to the sky. So like I'll be walking around like, damn it, and I would like I shout it out, and that it's not good. I think it's better than my dad slightly, but it's like people have been, they recognize me a little bit more now. And God forbid, they see some comedian. Oh, is that the comedian I like? And I'm like, and they go, oh God, that guy's out of control. And I remember once I was at an airport, and this was like 2021. So I feel like we were all readjusting to social norms after being kind of locked away for a while. And so I was in an airport in Wisconsin, and they announced that my flight was canceled. And there was no flights until the next day. And I was like, and the woman at the gate, she got on the speaker and said, behave yourself. And then a police officer came over. I swear, a police officer came over, and he said, "Are you the gentleman who just yelled an expletive in a crowded airport?" And I was like, I knew it was serious, so I was like, "Officer, I'm so fucking sorry." And then he was like, he was like, "If you have one more outburst, you will be put on a no fly list." And I was like, "Oh my!" I mean, can you imagine my career on a no fly list? I was shaking. I was so scared, and so I've gotten better, but I would say that's one of my biggest flaws.
So, what genre of movie would your life story be told as?
Um, oh God, I guess it depends. If I made it, it would have to be a comedy. I can't take my life seriously. I would say a dark adult comedy. Um, who knows? Depends how it comes to an end. Could be a really good drama. But I think it would have to be comedy. It would have to be something insane, a little bit Seinfeld-esque, Curb Your Enthusiasm, just some guy overly frustrated about small things and missing the bigger picture. I think that would be the movie.
Oh, I love that. I would watch that movie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted my life story to be both a rom-com and a musical. So,
Oh, musical. I didn't even think about that. That would be great. That's
yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah. Um, so what subject could you give a TED Talk on, even though you are totally unqualified on that subject?
Oh, okay. I would say, um, honestly, I would give a TED talk on don't go to college if you're pursuing the arts. I'm not qualified for it because I did go to college, but I would give a long speech about why I think we it would be about like the education system. I have so many opinions on the way schooling should go and how you should give kids some structure but not take up all their time, how we should re-enter school at a later age and have a better way to educate yourself as an adult. And it would just flip the world on its head. And I have zero research or data to back up my claims.
Well, I would be very interested to see that TED Talk.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so if you had the ability to put a message on a billboard for everyone to see, what would that message be?
Oh gosh, right now I would probably just use it to my anniversary is coming up with my girlfriend. So I would it would say something like my girlfriend's better than your wife. And I would say I would put that up there and just I would exploit it. I would do nothing to help the world with it. I would simply use the billboard to help my own romantic relationship.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, so what show or movie do you find yourself quoting all the time?
Um gosh, there's definitely I feel like Mad Men. I always want to quote Don Draper. Have you seen Mad Men? Are you familiar?
I haven't, but I know of it. So
There's something where I forget what her name is, but she says to Don, like, you never say I do a good job, and he goes, that's what the money is for. And I like that quote a lot. Um, I quote the other two. The other two is really funny.
yeah,
One of the best comedies I think in a long time.
yeah,
And I love all the stuff they talk about showbiz and everyone being full of crap.
yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that.
Oh, I love that. I loved the other two. That was one of
Amazing.
my favorite shows.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, I have so many that shows and movies that I just quote all the time. Like my brain's just filled with different quotes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I quote a lot of I always quote Friends, Will and Grace, and
Sure.
so those
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
are the three main ones I always quote.
Those are good ones.
Yeah. Um, so I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, my favorite quotation is by Maya Angelou, and it's family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, the ones who would do anything to see you smile and who love you no matter what. Um, is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Oh God, that's a really beautiful one, and I definitely can relate to that. And sometimes people with fully functioning families, they don't always understand um, other people's need to find a family, to make a family, and cultivate it, even if it's a mix of your own real family and friends. Oh gosh, one. I mean, the quote that I think about all the time is power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I just think about, especially in this world, as the rich get richer, I go, when you have more money, the more money you have, the more you are delusional to other people's pains and sufferings and needs and wants and your own justifications for your own happiness and the way that you deceive yourself. And the more we all want stability, we all want comfort, but the more you have of those things, the less you can understand the people who don't. The more friends you have, and the more socially fulfilled you feel, the harder it is for you to really get in the shoes of someone who's struggling with loneliness. The more money you have, the less you can understand someone who doesn't have money. The more power you have, everything. And I think it's important. The I believe in Rome or Pompeii or something back in the day when a general won a war and got a parade. There was this guy who was hired, or he was a slave at the time, and he would sit next to the general and whisper in his ear as everyone's cheering for him, and they'd whisper, memento mori, remember you will die. And it's like you need checks and balances, self-imposed sometimes, or someone whispering it in your ear. So back to your original thing, that's the quote I think about a lot is uh, uh, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Oh, wow. I like that quote. Yeah.
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 Yours is much more sweet and optimistic. Mine is we're all full of crap.
Yeah, two very different quotes.
Hey, you need a balance, you need the full spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, well, that was my final question for you. Thank
Thank you.
you so much for joining me. I've had the best time talking with you. You've made my day.
Thank you, Maya. I appreciate you having me on the show.
And that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.